What's good, my Capricorn fam? I'm Chris. Welcome to your reading for the month of September. It's been a while since I've been here. I'm so happy to be back and talking to you guys. I'm doing something a little differently this month. I'm pulling significator cards, which traditionally in tarot readings were cards used to represent the queer and the queer's energy. I've actually found it super helpful in terms of helping to connect to the different signs' energies, as well as kind of being a starting place, a starting ground for the readings, right? So let's go ahead and jump into Capricorn September 2018 Taroscope. All right, Capricorn, so we're dealing with the devil here, right? This is the card that represents you guys. Now, I always wonder from a Capricorn's perspective, does this make you a little uneasy or a little uncomfortable? For a lot of people, I feel like it would, right? But I think the point here is that you guys are very good at facing the darkness, right? Overcoming the shadow self. Keeping that part of yourself, this human tendency towards indulgence, towards temptation, and keeping it kind of in check. At your worst, you can get a little carried away, maybe like a little mean, a little harsh, a little difficult, right? Who would ever describe a Capricorn as difficult, right? But at the end of the day, I feel like of all the signs, like you guys can handle this energy. Devil energy is not necessarily so bad. It just depends on how it's used, right? So a little escapism, a little partying, a little fun can be helpful, can be therapeutic, can be cathartic, right? Until it gets like overwhelming and until it starts to run rampant and get all crazy and shit, right? Capricorn, when I was shuffling, I got these two cards here coming out together, right? Justice and the Six of Wands. I mean, how much clearer can it be? Right now we have Saturn in your sign that's been retrograde and now it's about to go direct. Can you say like reaping the rewards of your work? Can you talk about with Justice and the Six of Wands how you guys are getting what you deserve, getting what you've been working for? Right? I have my cousin is a Capricorn. She's such a quintessential Capricorn. She's pregnant right now. And we're talking about it. And she's like, you know, people always act like you can't like plan your life. But that's bullshit. Because I planned exactly when I was going to get married. I knew when I was going to get pregnant. I knew when I was going to have my baby. And it's like, can you get any more Capricorn than that? Right? Just like taking complete charge of your life. Saturn in your sign is at home, right? So for the next couple years while it's in your sign, at 2.5 years, at this point it's probably like 2 more years, you're gonna see leaps and bounds in your life. You're gonna see, you know, you're gonna feel like you're getting all the things you've wanted. You're gonna feel like your life is going in the direction that you've been planning for, that you've been hoping for, that you've been putting energy out into the universe and asking for, right? The great thing is that you guys deserve this, right? Like, way to tame the beast. Way to use this passion, this drive. That's also ultimately a lot of what Devil represents and why it's representative of Capricorn. It's passion, right? It's fire. It's like invigoration, right? That's why you think of it as like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? So Capricorn, because it's been a couple months since we've talked, we're going to start off this reading by kind of going through what's happened during the summer. It's been a very intense summer. Lots of retrogrades, lots of eclipse. Eclipse season like kind of threw most people off quite a bit. And I think with you guys, I don't feel necessarily like you've been thrown off. Obviously, you're like the sure-footed goat, like you got this down pat. But at the same time, I do think like it's important to see, you know, what's changed in you, what has evolved, what is growing in Capricorn, right? Literally, my cousin, it's fucking baby. All right, guys, so let's see what's going on in September. Yeah, Knight of Swords, like making those plans, making those goals, like really being the initiation of change. I think also you guys might have been a little sharp-tongued, right? Maybe a little tough on the people close to you. Maybe a little bit, you know, the Knight of Swords to me is very Gemini energy, where you kind of speak the truth and you don't pull back, and it's a little blunt, and maybe cuts a little bit, right? So I think you guys have really been embodying this Knight of Swords energy of just wanting to move forward, of looking towards the horizon, right? Ultimately, that's what this is about. Sometimes the air signs aren't the best at planning, but they're definitely the best at looking to the future. Really good at aspirational ideas, right? Big ideas, big goals, big plans, right? And with your energy, you're able to actually take that and put it into materializing, right? Make it actually happen. So right off the bat, like tons and tons of energy with Capricorn, a Wheel of Fortune. You see, like, this is a big momentum forward. Like, I think you guys are doing really well. I think that the Wheel of Fortune, this is funny because normally the Wheel of Fortune suggests sort of like things out of your control and stuff like that. But I don't really think that's the language you speak. I think it's actually almost as if like this Knight of Wands energy, if not like turning the wheel themselves, was kind of like blowing on it and pushing it in the direction that you want it to go, right? I think that Capricorn is feeling a shift, right? A shift forward. If things have been good for you, then like it's just a movement forward, right? If things have been bad for you, they're starting to move forward. This is what happens when your planet is retrograde in your sign, right? You might get a little stuck. You might, but this energy is like, I'm not gonna get stuck. I'm gonna make things happen my way because I know I can, right? And one more card to see where Capricorn has been. Nine of Swords, so definitely worry, right? I think that isn't any surprise that the Wheel of Fortune also kind of brings some like worry for Capricorn, right? Like, I don't know if you guys do great with things that are out of your control, not necessarily so easygoing when it comes to like necessarily going with the flow of things, right? Or being open to seeing what happens. But I do think that the remedy to this mental anguish, guys, is to just release a little bit of control. Like with Justice too, we have two cards here so far of like fate and things that are happening that are kind of meant to happen, right? Yes, Justice is about reaping what you sow, but it's also about karma. It's also about that Saturn and Capricorn energy, that collecting of everything that you've been so far in your life and everything that you've worked for so far in your life. So I think coming into September, guys, there's so much energy and a desire to move, but also like a little bit of frustration. I think that there might be other people, or especially other people, right? Because what is more out of your control than other people? Feeling a little bogged down by the things that you can't control, I think particularly when it comes to others. No matter how much you're able to take off and do your own thing and take care of yourself and you know, finesse on your own, there's still this like mental anguish. Is this like your relationships aren't really satisfying, like the people in your life aren't really as supportive or doing the things that you really want them to be doing. And I guess we'll see how much of that is you wanting them to do it and how much of that is what you need. I think with the Devil here, you guys expect someone who matches your energy, with someone who's going to match your passion, who's going to match your drive, right? And I think where there might be some level of upset here is that people in your life are just not feeling like on your level, whether it's like you're physically disconnected from them or mentally, especially mentally disconnected from them, right? Where there's almost this lack of understanding between each other, this is an emotional relationship, a romantic relationship rather, or like a familial relationship, whatever it might be. There's a sense of disappointment with the people in your life that I'm getting here. And no matter how good things are going for you and how well your plans are working out, I just feel like there's this like side anomaly thing where people are just not doing it for you. And I don't think it's making you super lonely, but I think it might be making you a little angry. Right? This is where this energy goes wrong. Get a little angry, get a little dark, a little, resentful of people. So Capricorn, let's go ahead and see what we have to look forward to in September here, because that energy I think is super overwhelming. So we have the waxing moon. This is definitely an indication here that things are coming to being. The plans that you set, like how much more validation do we need that the work you've been putting is coming into fruition? But again, I feel just frustrated here. I feel like you're not seeing that the moon is getting brighter. You're actually just focused on the darkness. You guys might be in a little bit of a period of darkness. You might have dark, heavy thoughts. You might be, again, angry at people, resentful of people, maybe like thinking things about people that aren't so nice. We have Mars that's been retrograde in your sign. And now it's turning direct. It's still in your sign until it hits Aquarius. So this is that energy, right? It's where that sign that's been frustrated that planet rather that's been frustrated in your sign has turned direct, but it's still like in its shadow. So it's still kind of like weighing on you. It's almost like you guys, Mars is really exalted in Capricorn, right? But I feel like exalted meaning like it brings out the best qualities of that sign, and that sign brings out the best qualities of that planet. So a planet like Mars that's all like gung-ho and forward-moving and action-oriented, and a sign like Capricorn that's all about climbing the ladder and getting better and better and doing your best and being your best. That's really powerful energy. But I think because it's been retrograde in your sign for a little while, there's this like almost a feeling of burnout of like, I want Mars to get out of Capricorn for you guys, right? For me, I was born with Mars in Capricorn. It's been doing wonders for me, right? That's since it's been going direct. Like, is there any coincidence that I got back on my channel when Mars is going direct in Capricorn? I don't think so. But for you guys, I feel like you're just ready to let go a little bit of that energy. When I was shuffling, the Dark Moon card came out, and it's almost like you guys need to rest a little bit is what I'm feeling, right? I think that's why it's so frustrating right now. Mars in Capricorn is like, it's like asking you to keep doing, and you guys are willing, you're up to the task to keep doing, to keep fighting, to keep struggling, to keep that relationship going, to keep struggling to make that job work, and you guys are down for that. You know, you're willing to do the work, but it's almost like you're just exhausted, right? Because Chariot, like, you know that there's movement ahead. You know that there's going to be a lot to get done in this month, right? You know that going into the winter, going to the fall and then the winter, then in your sign, there's movement that's going to be happening. There's newness, so much newness that is going to be coming your way, right? Like, you know that wheel has been turning, but now it's like the things that you're getting, like it's that you've been wanting, it's burdensome. And you're kind of waiting for the next few months when you start to feel the relief where the things that you've been wanting, I think, start to feel less heavy and start to feel more like you're actually gravitating forward towards like your goals, towards the things you really want, right? The peace in your relationship, the home that you've been wanting, the job you've been wanting, whatever it may be. Capricorn, I know I feel like I have to pause here. I think that let's keep going. There's something that's bothering me right now about your energy. We have a lot of majors, right? So we have the Hanged Man. How ironic, right? What was it just talking about with frustration, right? In between movement and stillness. The Chariot and the Hangman coming up next to each other. Push and pull, move and don't, right? This could be Saturn being retrograde in your sign, right? Very frustrating when your home planet isn't working in your favor, right? And a lot of majors, so like clearly very much on the cusp of a new chapter in your life. That's what I think of when I see all these majors, right? But when there's also too many majors in a spread, I think that there can be a lot of confusion, like almost like too much happening at once, like that you have to try to keep up with, like too many balls to juggle at the same time, right? So what happens when a sign that wants to go is asked to stay still, to contemplate, to rest, to recuperate? To me, the Hangman, though, isn't too detrimental for you guys right now. I don't feel with this card a sense of pain. It's almost like you guys are liking chilling upside down. It's almost like you guys are enjoying being able to just like take a step back from the way you've been doing things. You're almost enjoying like the pleasure. It's almost like pleasure in just switching up your perspective from being that workaholic to now like wanting to be pampered. And maybe that's the problem you're having with like the people in your life, right? Like you're not cared for in the way you want to be, right? Like I almost feel like you're doing this to yourself almost. Like the Hangman represents in a lot of ways the outsider, the other, the person who doesn't fit in totally, right? And I just think that you guys are maybe a little tired of taking care of yourselves and taking care of everybody else. And that's what I meant in the beginning when I was like, you want your equal, you want your partner, the person who's going to be just as supportive of you as you need. And it's almost like, you know how sometimes people get frustrated with people or especially men with women who is like, what do you expect me to be, a mind reader? Like right now, I think Capricorn wants the people in their lives to be a mind reader. You guys don't want to have to tell people what to do to support you. You don't want to have to just be in charge of everything. You don't want to have to tell your lover like what you need from them. You expect them to deliver. You don't want to like have to force relationships with people if you're like dating or whatever, right? Like you just want people to come and romance you and to take care of you and sweep you off your feet. And if you have that right now, it's going really well. But if you don't have that, there's like, you know, this frustration. Go, stop, go, stop, go, stop. What else does Capricorn have to look forward to in September? Page of Cups. Immediately, I guess I thought because of my cousin, like some of you might be getting pregnant or having children. The Page of Cups to me is obviously the energy of youth, but the energy of creation, which could very literally translate into pregnancy or childbirth, right? So I think for some of you that might be an issue this month, or just dealings with children, right? But especially with this card right now, I think that you're asking for something, right? You're asking the universe, you're praying to whatever gods you believe in to bring you the relief, to bring you the emotional sustenance that you're craving. Capricorn needs emotional sustenance just like the rest of us. Just because you guys are an earth sign that is totally like usually very independent and self-sufficient, I think you're like, this is to me like Capricorn is asking for emotional nourishment. You're holding your cup out and saying like, please, like, give me what I need. Give me what I desire. Be there for me. Love me. Care for me. Yes, I can care for myself, but who's going to care for me? Right? I can care for you. I can care for everybody. I can be in charge of everything, but like, who's going to rub my feet at the end of this? You know, that's like as simple as it can be, right? Who's just going to be the person who makes me feel loved and supported? And so what's going to happen in the love lives of Capricorn in September? I want you. This is that Eight of Swords. This is that thing I was just talking about, right? Where it's almost like putting yourself in this mental prison of expectations, I want to say, right? And it's not that your expectations aren't valid, but I think your expectations might be in some ways unrealistic, right? Like the things that you want from the people around you, like, they can't provide that to you. Right? The expectation, when I say unrealistic, again, it's not like you're asking for too much or like you're asking for anything unreasonable, but it almost feels like you're asking for things that people can't deliver. So to me, this becomes like a self-defeated attitude, self-defeated mentality. You know, where you start to, people aren't giving what you want, so you almost start to get angry and like, right, when I start from the beginning, angry. This is why I love having these cards out. I think I'm going to always do this. Like, it's really helping me connect with you guys' energy. Getting dark and angry, right? This is the prison of your mind where you feel resentful. I just feel like a lot of demands are being put on you. It's either that demands are being put on you or people aren't helping you with your burden, right? One or the other. The point is that like too much weight is on your back. What else in the love life of Capricorn? Okay, so we have the last quarter moon here. What I want to say about this is that the things that you want, I feel like there has to be a little bit of a release and letting go, right? This is like something is almost at the finish line, right? And by trying to hold on so tight and like force it, it's like what you need to actually do is let it go, right? Because at this point, the moon becoming full is inevitable, right? It's not like you have to guide it. It's not like you have to direct it. It's like almost there on its. I'm trying to see if I can get the sun to reflect on it because I got these like holographic Luna cards that are like really dope if you can catch the light the right way. Anyway, it's like a release I'm feeling, right? It's like stop fretting and just let things be. Let what's already in motion be. If you maybe are frustrated with somebody in a romantic situation, let it be what it is, right? So if somebody isn't up to your standards and you're entwined with them, let them be themselves a little bit, right? If somebody isn't there for you as much as you need, you know, we're all individuals and we can't always expect everyone to be what we need when we need it, right? Even in like long-term relationships, that's like a recipe for disaster. I think if you are in a committed relationship, you have to, it's almost as if you got into this knowing what you were getting into, and like now you can't be mad. You know, now you can't be mad that like you're feeling this weight because like you knew you signed up for this. Right? You knew what this person was like from the beginning. You knew what their lifestyle was like from the beginning and you got involved in it and now like you're going to be mad about it. Right? Doesn't matter what you told them, like you can see in someone's actions. I think there needs to be a letting go. If you are single and you're looking for love, it's almost like stop looking so hard. Where did I read this quote? I think it was like a Jim Carrey quote, and this is so true because this is exactly, I've said this in a lot of my readings before, it's exactly how I've always felt about love. It's exactly the moment when you're okay with being alone that everyone wants to be with you. You're finally okay being single. You finally feel good and you're like, I'm living my best single life. And then now all of a sudden someone wants to come into your life because they're attracted to that, right? So whether you're in a relationship or not, you have to just release your hold, release your grip, and let what will be. Let's come look at one more. You see, High Priestess, it's about flow. It's about like what's meant to be, right? Literally, what's meant to be, fate. Like that thing that I was just talking about, where when you're so comfortable in yourself that you just attract what you need and attract what you desire. It's almost like your subconscious is working, so like let go. Your subconscious mind is doing the work. Anything that you're doing right now is going to pay off in terms of like what is going to come your way in love, right? If right now you feel focused on your work, focus on your work, because that work is actually what's going to be the thing that attracts people to you. right? If you feel like being alone and with your friends, that joy, that happiness, that fun time, those fun times are going to be what's attracting people to you. If you really want love and you're like down to look for it, put yourself out there. But there's an element here of letting it come to you, is what I'm trying to say here, yeah? There's an element here of being still. You know, if you're used to getting jerked around or fucked around with, there was another quote I read the other day where it's like, don't ever mess with somebody who's perfectly okay with being alone because you'll always lose. When you get into that place where you're just like, don't care, where not like you don't care, not like apathetic, but where at the end of the day, you're kind of okay whether it works out or not. That's what I mean about releasing, right? Releasing control, releasing like forcing whether something is going to work out or not. Stop trying to make it work or not. If it's going to work, it's going to work. Because you're just going to be yourself, and that's going to work for what you're looking for, or it's not. It's going to work in your relationship, or it's not. That person is going to turn out to be exactly who you need, or they're not. Or maybe what you need needs to be fulfilled elsewhere. Do you ever think of that? Maybe your partner can't be what you need, and you need to rely on like your family or your friends for those things. That's something, a trap we fall into a lot, right? Codependency, too much expectations on one person that like they can't fulfill. It's like self-defeating like attitude. It's a recipe for failure. All right, let's look at your money and career for September because, hey, all right, so like, once again, the theme of pregnancy, right? I think this angel, the belly is like a little pregnant, right? So, some of you Capricorns, I think, September and even like going the rest of the year might find yourselves preggers. And if it's not like literal pregnancy, I think that when it comes to your career and your finances, like, things are blossoming. You're getting what you want. You're going to start to see the payoff once again of all the hard work you're doing. You might get a promotion. You might get recognition is what I feel like, right? The world represents the completion of a journey, but it also inherently is the start of something new. One thing ends, another thing begins, right? So I feel like a new phase of your life when it comes to your career. Yeah. You see? Seven of Wands, like what you've been fighting for. The energy you've been putting out into the world is coming back to you. You're going to start reaping the rewards, right? You're going to get those pay raises. You're going to get even just like some recognition from your higher ups. You're going to find yourself feeling like you're in the right place. There's an element I feel like here of also luck and good fortune where you could find yourself in the right place in the right time. You might end up working for the right person who's going to propel your career forward, right? You might end up with a job opportunity, maybe almost even falling into your lap. I feel like a lot of fortune and a lot of, good things coming with the world. I mean, we did talk about fortune, right? We did talk about things that are outside of your control. All right, so let's pull a couple outcome cards and then we'll wrap it up with the oracles, right? Outcome, beautiful. 9 of Cups. Stunning. Temperance, 7 of Cups. Okay, cool. So first and foremost, a lot of emotional energy here, right? All of these cards involve cups and involve the emotions and the instincts. And the 9 of Cups, though, I haven't seen this card in a long time, guys. We were the first, I'm through with like two-thirds of the readings, and even just in my private readings, I haven't seen the 9 of Cups come up for a long time. And what else does this mean but like the self-expression that comes through the self-fulfillment that shows up in what you reap and what you bring in yourself. This is traditionally thought of a card of wishes granted, but it's wishes granted based on like who you are and what you've been doing. It's sort of like a card of self-expression in terms of like what you're experiencing emotionally, right? In terms of like you're seeing the best of who you are showing up in the world. You're in the Temperance, you're balanced, right? I want to dare say like there's divine energy here, right? Because we have two angels and two majors, right? This is like the 5th time I feel like in this reading that reaping your rewards and getting what you want is happening. Like Sagittarius energy. So maybe I said that because you might be dealing with Sagittarius. So if you're especially like in a love relationship with a Sagittarius, that could go really well for you right now. But otherwise, just that Sagittarius energy of optimism and hope and moving forward, and Sagittarius is such a lucky sign, right? Good fortune ruled by Jupiter, right? Luck and good fortune coming your way, like happiness, like all this bent out of shape stuff, all this like bullshit that you guys are putting yourself through mentally, like I think you're gonna find out by the end of the month like it's not that big of a deal, and that you're actually doing really well, and that you actually are going to be getting the things you want and need. Now, the one caveat, right? 7 of Cups can represent distractions and once again temptation, right? So with this card, I would warn you to not get pulled in too many different directions. That's why we have Temperance here, right? Temperance is to me very grounding, very healing, very sure of itself, very knowing of where it belongs in the scheme of things. So I would suggest, guys, finding ways to be grounded this month, finding ways of letting go once again, right? That's kind of what I mean by grounding in a way. Like, you know, that serenity prayer, grant me the strength to get what I want and the wisdom to know the difference. I'm screwing it up right now. The strength to control the things I can't. What is the other part? And then the wisdom to know the difference. I'm forgetting it, right? Anyway, the point is like release. The point is like letting go of you know, because sometimes when we try too hard to make something happen, it turns out that it's not actually what we wanted or what we needed. Don't get too caught up in what you think you want, right? Because the 7 of Cups warns of delusional thinking. It warns of things not being what they seem. It warns of temptations. It warns of like the 7 deadly sins, right? The things that pull us in ways that are not true to who we are. And once again, in the middle, we have Temperance with balance. Right? So always come back to yourself. Find quiet time if you need to. I'm going to be starting weekly meditations on my channel. Come and sit in on those. They'll be completely free, and I've been doing this for a long time. So if you've ever wanted to start a meditation practice, like now is the time to do it, guys. It's important to be like stable, right? And in control of your emotions. All right, Capricorn. So let's go ahead and pull the Oracle cards. Just a little side note, if you guys are interested in private readings, I've been selling through Etsy, and it's not really working out anymore because there's no way to manage it. I just get a slew of readings and they're all due at the same time. I have no way of managing my time in that way. So I'm going to be switching to a booking system. I'm going to launch a website by October where you can actually book appointments. So right now, all the stock of readings that I have in my Etsy shop are going to be marked down and on sale until they sell out. And then once they sell out, the shop's going to be closed down. So if you've ever wanted to get a reading or you're interested in that, I take advantage of that because very limited supply and they're never going to be that price again. Okay. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Swords. Again, I feel like just that loneliness, that heartbreak, that sorrow, but more than anything, this is chutzpah, this is toughness, this is overcoming, this is the way that your pain and your heartbreak has brought you into a different place of your life, a stronger place in your life, right? Also, I'm not able to show the cards the way I have my setup here, so what I'm going to do at the end, I'll take a picture of the whole spread, and if you want to check it out, it's going to be at the very end of this video, okay? There you go, exactly. Creativity, kinship, harvest. Like, what has been the theme of this whole reading? Harvest. Reaping what you've sown. Reaping the rewards of all the work you've done. Even with this 3 of Cups stuff, right? I mean, a 3 of Swords stuff. All the pain and heartbreak and struggle you've been through is paying off now, right? And in September, I think you're gonna have a lot of connection with family, even if that person, or that if you have a love relationship that's dissatisfying or whatever it might be, connection to family and friends, things that make you feel lighthearted, things that make you feel loved. You know, the sea otter represents light feelings and happiness and joy and connection to people and the support of people, right? So no matter where you're feeling like you're not getting it, we're not getting support in your life, like look to especially family, especially longtime friends in particular, right? The people who you would consider your family. And then we have Spider and creativity. So as much as I said to kind of release control a little bit, we are controlling the narrative, right? We are that's why we do meditation, that's why we do tarot work, that's why we do this stuff, because everything in life already we ascribe meaning to, and we give a story to, right? And right now this is about taking control of the story and making it what you want it to be. Moving forward in a way that like makes sense to you and is in tune with your like intuition. Where's that high priestess? It doesn't matter, it's okay. All right, guys? Okay, Capricorn, so I think it's a really encouraging reading here. I think that you guys, if there's any danger, it is about like the darkness of your thoughts potentially, right? And almost in a way setting yourself up for failure by having unrealistic expectations of other people. But ultimately, you know, you deserve to have your cup filled. You deserve to ask for the things that you want. That's what you also have to do. You have to, even if you don't want to, you like ask for the things that you want, right? Because if you're not getting them and then you're mad about it, like whose fault is that you're not getting it? And if someone's not giving it to you, then fuck it. Like pull back and be on your own and just like find solace in like yourself. Peace, right? All right, guys, I love you so much. Look out for a lot of videos coming in the next few weeks. And I'm so happy to be back here working with you guys. And this feels really good. And I hope that the messages that came through are exactly what you needed to hear right now. All right, guys, have a blessed September, and I will talk to you soon. You take care. Bye-bye.